Hello and welcome. You are about to watch an opioid overdose and naloxone education training video brought to you by Fairfax County and the Fairfax Falls Church Community Services Board. In this video, we will show you how to recognize and respond to an opioid overdose emergency, how to use the life-saving medication naloxone nasal spray to reverse an overdose, and information on where to obtain naloxone. What is an opioid? Opioids can be prescription medications like oxycodone, hydrocodone, codeine, morphine, and fentanyl, which are used to treat pain. Heroin is another opiate that is derived from morphine. Fentanyl is an opioid that is 50 to 100 times stronger than morphine. Non-medical fentanyl has rapidly contributed to drug overdoses. Synthetic pills, or fake pills, are made to look like prescription opioids, such as OxyContin, Percocet, or tranquilizers like Xanax, or stimulants like Adderall. Opioids can be mixed, cut into any substance. Any pill or drug purchased on the street has the potential to contain opioids. Officials from the Drug Enforcement Agency, DEA, report a dramatic rise in the number of counterfeit pills containing a lethal dose of fentanyl, including here in Northern Virginia. Fake pills are easy to purchase, widely available, and easily accessible. They can even be purchased on social media, making them available to anyone with a smartphone, including minors. Anyone who uses opioids can be at risk for an accidental overdose. Opioids cause respiratory depression, where a person's breathing slows or stops. It is impossible to know the strength of opioids purchased on the street. So anyone who uses prescription opioids or uses drugs purchased on the street is at risk for an accidental opioid overdose. What does an opioid overdose look like? Unresponsive or unconscious. Gurgling or snoring sounds, often referred to as a death rattle. Breathing will be shallow, slow, or stop. Pinpoint pupils. Skin feels cold and clammy. Fingernails and lips are blue or pale for lighter skin. For darker skin, gray or ashen. Now, how can you reverse an opioid overdose? Naloxone is a potentially life-saving medication designed to help reverse the effects of an opioid overdose in minutes. It's available under its brand name, Narcan, and its generic name, naloxone. Let's review how naloxone works. Naloxone can take 1 to 5 minutes to start working and may require more than one dose. It temporarily blocks the effects of opioids on the brain, restoring the person's respiratory drive, breathing. Naloxone only works if opioids are in the body. It has no effect on alcohol or other drugs, such as barbiturates and benzodiazepines. The reversing effects of naloxone can last 30 to 90 minutes. This varies person to person and by the quantity of opioid. Naloxone has a stronger affinity to the opioid receptors than the opioid, so it knocks the opioid off the receptors for a short time, 30 to 90 minutes. Giving naloxone will not cause further harm. Naloxone has no abuse potential. There is no high from it. Naloxone has the same dose for an adult and a child. If you are uncertain why the person is unconscious, giving naloxone is not likely to cause further harm. If the person is opioid dependent, acute opioid withdrawal symptoms may occur: nausea, vomiting, and muscle aches. These symptoms will go away as the naloxone wears off. Note the expiration date on the top or bottom of the box and the storage requirements on the side. Store at room temperature and avoid exposure to extreme high and low temperatures. Don't leave it in your car. Only discard unused naloxone once you have a replacement for it. Using expired or improperly stored naloxone may still be effective and is unlikely to cause further harm to the person. Now let's review how to respond to an opioid overdose emergency. First, check for responsiveness. Shake the person, call their name loudly, tap their shoulder, or pinch their earlobe. Give a sternum or breastbone rub, or a trapezius squeeze. For the sternum rub, make a fist and rake your knuckles hard up and down the front of the person's sternum or breastbone. For a trapezius squeeze, use your index finger and thumb to squeeze about 1.5 to 2 inches of the trapezius muscle, and then increase pressure gradually for about 10 seconds. Look, listen, and feel for signs of breathing. If the person does not respond or is not breathing, act quickly. Call 911. Getting emergency medical help on the way as soon as possible is critical. Report that the person's breathing has slowed or stopped, they are unresponsive, it is a suspected overdose, and give the exact location. When you administer naloxone, think of the 3 P's: peel, place, and press. First, peel. Peel the back of the package to remove the device. Hold the nasal spray with your index and middle fingers around the nozzle. Place your thumb on the plunger. Place and hold. Tilt the person's head back and support their neck. Insert the tip of the nozzle into either nostril until you can feel your knuckles pressed against the person's nose. Press the plunger firmly to give the dose of naloxone. Remember, naloxone may take 1 to 5 minutes to work and allow the person to breathe on their own. Move quickly to the next step. Start rescue breathing. With the person on their back, tilt their chin up. Plug or pinch their nose with one hand and give 1 breath every 5 seconds. Continue for up to 3 minutes. If the person still isn't breathing on their own after 3 minutes, give them a second dose of naloxone in the opposite nostril than the first dose. Resume rescue breathing until they are breathing on their own or first responders arrive. When taking care of the recovered person, explain that you gave them naloxone and help is on the way. Urge them to wait to be medically checked. Understand withdrawal symptoms may occur. Monitor for potential overdose relapse as naloxone wears off. Use the second dose if needed. Resume rescue breathing until the person responds or help arrives. You might be alone with the person you are trying to help. If this is the case, remember to never leave them lying flat on their back. Always put them on their side and use their top leg like a kickstand for the body. And tuck the top arm up under the head and face. This is called the recovery position. There are legal protections for a lay rescuer responding to an overdose, including Virginia's Good Samaritan law and safe reporting. Good Samaritan overdose immunity laws offer liability protections to individuals who use naloxone in an overdose and permits any person in good faith to administer naloxone to someone who is experiencing an opioid overdose. If an individual reports an overdose, they are not subject to arrest or prosecution for drugs or paraphernalia if seeking emergency medical care for themselves or others who are overdosing. Individuals are expected to remain at the scene, identify themselves to emergency services and law enforcement, and give law enforcement their correct name. Naloxone can be purchased at your local pharmacy. For residents of Fairfax County and the cities of Falls Church and Fairfax, please contact the Fairfax Falls Church CSB for additional information on how to obtain free naloxone. Thank you for taking the time to learn about opioids and naloxone. Stay safe and take care.